Avoid elimination with the wire-to-wire win over the defending champs. LA snapped an 11-game losing streak to Denver, dating back to those Western Conference Finals as well. Welcome to Playoff Central Live, presented by State Farm. I'm your host, Chris Miles, with the champs, Udonis Haslem and Rick Mahorn. A lot of places to start, but let's start with Anthony Davis. Coming into this game, 3 consecutive games with 30 and 10. First Laker to do that, 3 playoff games since Shaq in 2002. Then he had a 2020 game, 25 points, 23 rebounds, 6 helpers. Rick, he led the way trying to match Joker's production.
The thing is, you always want to match what the Joker does, but I tell you, Anthony Davis is special within himself. He gets the ball down on that court. He's so long, and he has great footwork, and he has great ball handling skills. So it's hard when you have a team like LeBron James and Anthony Davis on it. You got to feed the guy in the inside. You got to feed the beast. And when you feed the beast will give you production.
I mean, Anthony Davis has been playing great this whole series. I think his numbers get overshadowed because of what Joker's doing, but Joker has set the bar so high that we tend to overlook the greatness of Anthony Davis. But he's been great in this series. A 20-20 game, back against the wall. What's inside you will reveal itself. Showed their heart, he showed the desire, he showed the fight. Proud of the Lakers tonight because it would have been easy just to let this one go.
AD not the only one scoring inside the paint. Lakers plus 20 in the restricted area, 72 points in the paint. And, Rick, that's where they hung their hat all season. But in this one, they were able to be more successful than they had earlier.
Not only 72 second chance points in the paint, but, I mean, well, not 72 points in the paint, but when you get second chance opportunities, you're going right with him. You're attacking Joker off the dribble, but then you're able to get the spring and the bounce because Joker's not a high jumper. So when you attack the basket, you look for things, you get the defense moving, but when the ball come to you and you know that you're getting those 23 rebounds, getting offensive rebounds, that's only going to help your team. And that's hustle points.
Yes.
If you don't get those hustle points, given a team where teams start focusing in that you can do that, but the pass to LeBron James, he's cutting to the basket. So now you got this high pick and roll action with D'Lo, and then next thing you know, he's looking, but while you're all eyes on him, LeBron gets that dunk in the back, that lob dunk. So that's how you play a team. You play a team like the Denver Nuggets, you got to keep moving because the Joker is one of those rocks that's going to stand there in the paint.
LeBron, 14 of his 30 points coming in the fourth quarter in UD. There were steals on the fast break. There were nice passes like you just saw from D'Angelo Russell. But when they needed that push late in the game, LeBron had it in this one.
Yeah, definitely. And I got to credit Darvin Ham. I think there was an adjustment made in this game. And when you take LeBron off the top and you move you take LeBron off the top and you move him on the baseline and you put him in a dunker. Now you got Gabe up on that elbow. So now when you run that pick and roll, you allow LeBron to be in that dunker spot to play somewhat like Aaron Gordon. So now you get downhill with Anthony Davis and you bring in D'Angelo Russell off the pick and roll. You have to step up to bump on Anthony Davis. Now you got LeBron going back there for that dunk. So credit making that adjustment because that's something that Denver does a lot to people. When we see Aaron Gordon in that dunker spot and you run the pick and roll and he's going back door to get that lob. So he's really taking a page out of Denver book with that. I think that confused Denver because they don't really have a guy that can slide that dunker in the league as well as Aaron Gordon until we saw LeBron James down there. Now that creates some confusion for those guys because you have Gabe Vincent up there in the slot, which gives space for that pick and roll. So credit Darvin Ham. I know there was some confusion with Darvin Ham and do we know what we're doing? They knew what they was doing tonight. They knew what they was doing tonight and they did it. They executed down the stretch. I love that because in Miami we put LeBron James in that dunker spot a lot and it was a really good move for us. So he can play all over the floor, but he was definitely effective in that dunker. And that also helped with the points in the paint.
Yeah, the Lakers have led by double digits in every game this series, but this time they hold on and win by double digits, 119-108. Here's Darvin Ham already at the podium.
Darvin, you've been talking about sustaining pace, for a full game and, finding a way to hold off the charges that came out. How did that flip tonight in that third quarter and then again in the fourth when they tried to come back?
I mean, for one, we knew they were going to make a couple of runs, prideful championship team. The biggest thing for us, just making it as difficult as possible. They hit some tough shots. We had some unfortunate fouls, some unfortunate turnovers, but we kept the scoreboard moving as well, which you have to do. Again, continuous. You're not going to shut anybody down completely for the entire game. So you just have to be prepared for that onslaught and make sure you're doing what you need to do and meeting force with force. Force them into tough situations. If it doesn't work out, move on to the next play and go try to, go back at them.
It's the first time that you've out-rebounded them in, I think, 6 games, and AD has 23 of them. What did you see from him, and how did that play into the glass overall?
Totally just dominant. Just the way he's been on the glass, changing shots, got a hell of a matchup with Joker. Just his focus, being that defensive catalyst, communicating. Our perimeter guys, all our guys stepped up and played well in terms of trying to control their matchup. Times where we had to switch, just be active on the backside. Got a lot of good stuff to look at film, and just got to be even better, even more perfect.
Coach, with everything that happened in the game tonight, did you kind of wonder to yourself, why haven't we played like this before?
I mean, again, like I said pregame, we've had great stretches against this team. We've played for good segments. We just never quite put together a complete game. Whether it's a whole quarter or a stretch of 7 to 8 minutes that we just kind of dropped the ball. But tonight, we just stay in the end. Our competitiveness never wavered. Our togetherness never wavered. And as I just told them, the selflessness. We found a group that made a nice little run, and it was time for certain guys to come in the game, and those guys who were coming in the game said, no, let them rock out. So that togetherness right there, that growth, and everything we discussed yesterday about being one, and, beautiful day to be alive in order to stay alive. That was the message yesterday and the message today. Just win one game. We got to refocus, recalibrate, and have that same mindset going up to Denver.
Darvin, D'Angelo is obviously a very confident player, and after game 1 came out.
I'm very confident in him.
And came out firing in game 2. He was a little more let the game come to him in terms of flow in this game. Did you like the way he kind of approached this game?
I loved it. I told him to go crazy. Be confident. You've been doing this your whole life. Go crazy and be aggressive. So he looked at me, and his little nickname for me is Big Dog. So I got you, Big Dog. Got you. Shook my hand, gave me a hug, and did what he did tonight. I'm so proud of that kid. It's just everything that we've been through as a team, on the court, off the court, just injuries, everything. Like, we deserve this tonight, and we just got to bottle it up and really keep it pushing, and really understand that, it could be our time. Why not us? So just push through to the next game. Keep that focus. Don't look too far down the road. Don't worry about what just happened behind us. Just every new game is a new opportunity for us to be more competitive, more together, more selfless.
Dar, following up on D'Lo, it felt like his diversity in his shot selection tonight was great, and it's something that you said you wanted to see him do, play downhill, put the ball on the floor. How much did that help the offense in general?
Big time. I mean, whenever he's decisive and aggressive, even his no-looks, LeBron and his pocket passing, the way he finds people, when he's in his mode, and again, being deliberate, being aggressive, he's elite. He's elite. He's an elite offensive player, and so we needed every bit of it tonight.
To kind of follow up a little bit, you guys there was a stat that ESPN posted. I mean, you guys have led more than 100 minutes in this series, and you've outscored them in the first quarter. I think the playoff best plus 27 now, but had nothing to show for it in terms of results. Despite the history of 03, do those stretches give you confidence, bigger picture in this group as it moves forward into the series?
Absolutely. I think again, it's a possession by possession game. You gotta have multiple efforts. You gotta stay aggressive offensively, and on both sides of the ball, you gotta have a next play mentality. You gotta move on to the next play. Good, bad, or indifferent. Move on to the next play, and you gotta force the action, force the whistle. You can't go in there expecting for the whistle to save you. You go to make plays, and you get the whistle, great. If not,